Hi, I'm Joe Walensky, and I want to show a few things that I noticed in Intuit's support portal that I thought were interesting. And this is specifically in the area of QuickBooks support. And of course, Intuit has many products, and this is just one of them. But one of the things I noticed is at certain times you'll get the pink bar to appear at the top, important announcements. And so one of the items on important announcements, helpful tips for updating your company file to a new version of QuickBooks. And if you click on that, you'll get the information that's been newly authored. And I've always thought that it could be useful for us to be more active in presenting information, new information to our customers, and doing a tip bar like or a hint bar like this, I think, is one way to do it. Another thing that they have that's part of the resource center is two very clearly marked links to mistakes and also to tips for mistakes to avoid and tips for a smooth start. The mistakes, I think, is interesting because we often don't want to deal with the negative. But if there's a case where there's definitely things that your users may have problems with if they're not aware of, then I think it can be good to present something like this. And so here you have a pros presentation of those don'ts. And then if you want to get more detail, for example, learn how to create a new company file, there's a link to that so that you get to the actual procedure. And then similarly for tips for getting off to a smooth start with QuickBook. The left-hand side clearly shows the basic phrase to consider, and then a paragraph, short paragraph of information, and then if you need to look at one of the screen captures a little closer, the plus icon indicates that if I click on that, I can get an expanded view. One thing that I thought was interesting in the support center was the section with 20 top 20 support articles. And of course, a lot of organizations have similar things like that. But in this one, it factors out the type of article that it is. And I'm not sure if that's coming from metadata and a template is set up to then put it out like that, or the back-end system is set up that way. But I think it can be useful. There's a lot of times when I'm in a knowledge base looking through information and there's no discrimination between the different information types, and I may know that I want how do I procedure article versus troubleshooting an error message, and vice versa. And then finally, last item was that there's a link to their user guides, and if you click into the QuickBooks user guide, the thing I like about the way that this is presented is that it's very visual and light on the procedures. And of course, in this case, it is really about exploring the user interface, and so the diagrams are related to that. But it's very colorful in the way that it's presented, and I think that just helps make the whole set of information a little bit more engaging. And so I think there's some lessons to be learned there. The callouts seem to be done well and tell a story, and overall it's a nice PDF. One thing I thought was odd was that they left the registration and crop marks in, which the printer would use to make the final booklet, but possibly that's because the page design program didn't allow for that to be easily removed. I know I've worked on projects like that before. So that's all I wanted to talk about. Just provide a few items related to the theme of a comprehensive look at software user assistance. Thanks.